Did Oakland Raiders owner Mark Davis talk too much today in his interview with JT the Brick? I have to say this. I like JT the Brick a lot. We differ on this Raiders situation, but I've always, over the years, and it's been quite some years, enjoyed his talk radio show, his style, and his friendship in person. So, hey, this is not to attack JT the Brick in any way. Not in the least. Just want to get that out of the way for those who might interpret this live stream as me having something against JT the Brick. Don't even go there. I don't. I think JT the Brick is a great guy. We just disagree on this thing. That's it. Now, I didn't hear the interview. Perhaps you did. I saw it exploding on Livestream. Excuse me, on Livestream. I'm on Livestream. I saw it exploding on the Twitter feeds all over the place, but I did not myself tune in to check it out, and perhaps I should have. But the bottom line is, I didn't, okay? So you can fill in. I got bits and pieces of it thanks to a number of different tweets, among them the idea that he didn't talk to Ronnie Lott at all because he said he had a promise to Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval, which really calls into question a lot of actions that he took on as officially not working in good faith with the city of Oakland. If he had this promise that was driving him, and yet he's signing a lease, and which is what he did do, and then he said he started looking for new sites after he signed the lease, and then he claims they jacked up the lease on him after, which wasn't the case at all. When did this promise to Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval really come about? He keeps trumping this up all of a sudden, you know? So he's not telling it like it is, okay? He's not telling it like it is. And I think, as much again as I like JT the Brick, for him to go on a show just 1 week after the NFL annual meeting decision, actually 1 week and a day, was simply the wrong thing to do. It's like, you know, I get the impression that Mark likes to antagonize people. He knows you're upset about something, and so he likes to do this, like, you know, elbow you a little bit, poke you a little bit, prod you a little bit. Oh, you're pissed off, huh? Take this. Oh, you're upset, huh? Take that. Oh, you're crying, huh? Here's a body slam to your emotions. You know what I mean? I get that I get the impression he gets a kick out of that. And the question is, how much longer can he drive home that kind of behavior until it reaches some point where he said the wrong thing and he's upset and pissed off a Raider fan that's very powerful, well-moneyed. That person gets an attorney, and next thing you know, we've got a new monkey wrench in the system. I'm just asking, okay? Hey, everybody. Hey, Barry. Hey, we have the moderators. Golden State Raider, how are you? Donald Richardson, how are you? Golden State Raider, you heard it. What did you think? And let's see, who am I missing here saying hi? Hi, Barry Lee, how are you? Hold on a second. Let me see what I'm doing here. I don't want to inadvertently do something I don't want and didn't intend to do. So let me do this. Let me, oops, don't want to do that either. Oops, okay. Andrew Cipher, how are you? Silver and Black Oakland. Well, yeah. So, well, it's like Oakland never really tried to buy the land. That's a lie. Yeah, in fact, I'm glad you brought that up because I put that out there to really highlight what Grubman said because my live stream is really long. But Eric actually offered the land for $1. That was the nominal price, $1. It wasn't $150 or $167.50 like Egbert Perry. It was $1. So there you go. So he makes it sound like, oh, we have all this money and we're the NFL and we're rich and everything. And Larry Gallegos told me that when the NFL was put to a developer test, they couldn't come up with any money. Ding. So there you go. Now, let's see here. Who am I missing? Hey, Mark Steingart, how are you? Welcome. Let's see here. Topaz7329 Mark says he offered the A's 20% of the team. Any truth to that? Topaz, hey Raider Crew, so how are you doing? Yeah, Topaz, that is true. And in fact, but I'll go a step further. I'm gonna write this in. Davis and Badane also offered Raiders for 20%. 20% of Raiders to Floyd Gephardt. Got that? So there you go. Just so you can see that. Yeah. Mark Davis and Mark Badane offered 20% of the Raiders to Floyd Gephardt. That was in a letter that was leaked to the press and has been since taken down off the internet. And I had a copy of it. I got to dig back for that copy. But the bottom line, because I downloaded it thinking I'm going to need this for a rainy day. But the bottom line is that Badane wrote this letter and stated that a portion of the Raiders was for sale as part of the deal that they were trying to engineer with Floyd Gephardt. So this idea, early on last year, someone was saying, well, they were screaming, Mark Davis isn't trying to sell the Raiders. Stop saying that, stop saying that, stop saying that. And I said, well, he has been. He has been. So, yeah. Now, Zinnia, you're going to the NFL draft. I hope so. I'll put my application in. And I've got to do my mock draft. I've spent so much time on this relocation stuff that it's put me behind the others. But I can catch up within a day. That's not a problem. The design for the A's have those cranes as part of the design. Yeah, that's right. Mark, silver and black Oakland. Yeah, that ruined the whole deal. Yep. Flash of Thunder says, watching this A's and the Warriors, multitasking. Better than me. Yeah. Who's 20%? Octavia, you say who's 20%? You mean 20%? Oh, I see what you're getting at. Well, that's a good question because, and maybe let's stop to think about Octavio's question. For example, I own 70% of Zenny 62 Media. My colleague Nikki Rainey has 10%, and we have 20% unallocated. Okay. In my other company, Sports Business Simulations, about 27% of our stock is unallocated. So I could sell 27% of SBS, right? And I wouldn't be interrupting anyone else's shares. Now, in the case of SBS, I have what is called a non-dilution agreement. And a non-dilution agreement is where, let's say we're all shareholders in a company, all right? We're just starting it. We each sign a document that states that if we take on a new investor, and that investor buys X number of shares, that our percentage shares are not diluted by that person coming in. Okay, that's what a non-dilution agreement is. I say non-disclosure. I meant non-dilution agreement. That's what a non-dilution agreement is. Now, do the Raiders have that sort of thing? Don't know, but I do know this now that my memory's just kicked in on this matter. The Raiders do have 20% of their stock that's outstanding. That is not owned, and so I believe it was that chunk. And I remember that from a document I read that goes back to Mike Nyota 2007 that stated that since 2005 the Raiders were trying to sell a percentage of their team. So yeah, there you go. Now, okay. Let's see. Muhammad asks, is there any chance, any late minute move, Raiders stay in Oakland or any scenario? Hey, Muhammad, I think it's going to take time. This is all, there's so many moving parts in Las Vegas, so many things that have already gone wrong. I point to you this. The Raiders have not signed their non-relocation agreement. Okay? So the Raiders are leaving themselves a back door. They can swing open and, out. Now, why is that important? Because the SNTIC documents, now what's the SNTIC? That's the Southern Nevada Tourism and Infrastructure Committee documents have stated, where applicable, that the A's. Let me slow down here. The Raiders are to sign a non-relocation agreement. They won't move. And Davis early on said he'd do that, but he's been dragging his feet. And folks, he's going to continue to drag his feet like they're stone galoshes, like he's wearing stone galoshes. Watch. Yeah. Let's see here. Steve Macy. It's amazing how Davis says he did everything he could to keep the Raiders in Oakland. Is not attending meeting really trying? Correct. He didn't. Burn, says Aeroplane Booze. Aeroplane, how are you doing? Muhammad, did I answer your question? Golden State Raider. Zinni, would you take PR job if Raiders or NFL Falcons offered? Why? I mean, no, actually, I don't think I would because, my unique situation here, the Falcons are a different story, but I am trying to have a flexible schedule for my mom, because and that's my intent. It's right now, and so and that's what this allows me to do, to gain more clients and be here to keep my mom company and help her, and ultimately I like to buy this place. Okay. So that's just being absolutely frank about all this stuff. Now, let's see here. Did you see the article on Bleacher Report stating that this is the worst stadium deal in the world? Yeah, I've seen that all over. Hey, I think I'm the first person to tell people that this was a bad deal, right? Like last year, when I mentioned the debt coverage ratio issue, and even Las Vegas City Council persons passed around what I did and put it on their Facebook pages. So, hey, I'm the first to tell you. Anyway, let's see here. Zinni, Joseph Jones, Zinni, in your opinion, why is it so important to get the A's off the stadium site? They could easily share the land. Well, it's a way of calling bluffs, okay? But also, look, Howard Terminal has been sitting there. We can develop it. We have the right combination of location and investment dollars coming in that would allow it. Everybody wants to see the A's at Howard Terminal in what will be, I think, next to Pac-Bell Park or AT&T Park, the most beautiful baseball venue in the world. Just saying. We'll have two of them in the Bay Area right across from each other. And if you've ever gone to the Michon's Auction Flea Market, well, Alan doesn't like for it to be called a flea market, but it's over in Alameda Point, and it's right next to the ship channel, okay? And if you look down, if you go and stand and you look in this direction to the right, you will see Howard Terminal. Imagine the baseball stadium right there. I mean, that's, wow. I think about that and I just, wow. That wow just comes up every time. And we can do it. We can do it. Let's see. Barry Lee says, hey, Zinni, I understand you wanting to be there for your mom because I lost my mom in November 2013, just 3 days before her birthday. Oh, wow. See, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And, yeah. Golden State Raider, watch Davis has buyer's remorse. I welcome that. I think that's going to happen. Aeroplane Blues, what Bleacher Report article says it's the worst? I think he's asking. Let's see here. That came out originally, I think, not in Bleacher Report, but in the Mercury News. Yeah. And so, let me see if I'm missing anything here. Any questions? Raymond Pa says, Davis admitted they refused Oakland talks for a year, and yet he and JT the Brick admit Vegas won't work without Oakland fans, the real diehard Zinni. That's right. It won't work. It won't. It just won't. So now you know who has them really by the short hairs, don't you? Oakland Raider fans. They admit that. Let's see here. Raymond Paz, how you doing? And Pete Smith, welcome. Silver and Black Oak. Davis should back out of the Vegas deal and try to work with Caval on something, even though he dissed the A's today. What did he say about the A's that was a diss? I'm curious. Flash of Thunder. Yes, you were the first. Thank you. Mark Steyer. Zinni, do you think the city will change their mind and sell the land to the Oakland Raiders, I think you mean? And why do you think the city didn't sell it before? Mark, I think it had to do with the fact that the NFL was offering $1, and the city wanted more than $1. And the NFL, as much as it says it has $1 billion to invest, does a bad job of proving that because there's no prior to look at where you can say the NFL spent $1 billion in this community and this is what happened. So it's one thing to talk, but it's another thing to do. If the NFL were really serious about investing in Oakland, they would not have allowed this competition to occur. They would have lined up their investors. They would have built a model of what they wanted to do with the NFL shield proudly emblazoned on the roof of whatever they're going to build, and just let it fly. They didn't do that, okay? Oh, I am remiss. I'm forgetting my social media duties here. I'm so busy talking here. But let's see. Do you think the Raiders could have ever built on Alameda Point? I think they could have, but my point is that, what's the advantage of Alameda Point over the Coliseum? The problem with Alameda Point is infrastructure. The Coliseum has the best infrastructure for a sports franchise in the world, I think. Why run away from that? What would the point be? That's my question. What would the point be? And I don't get that. Okay, do you? You tell me. All right. Hey, John Santos, how are you? Maniac 5900, how are you, Maniac? Will this plan fail in Las Vegas? Yes, it will. Are aware. Libby really did not want to keep the Raiders in town. One term and she's done. I think Libby made some mistakes. I think she did want to keep the Raiders. I believe that she didn't, in her heart of hearts, believe the vote was going to go the way that it did. But, Libby's got to sit down with a pad and write down lessons learned. There's a lot of lessons learned. I have stated my objections to how things were done. But I think that we're in the driver's seat right now. There's no pressure upon us anymore. And we can do a lot to right a lot of wrongs, both from a negotiating perspective and from a legal perspective. So this is a good time to be an Oaklander, I think. Yeah. Let's see here. Davis admitted the A's distant. How this diss? Where did this diss come from? Hey, moderators, thank you for doing your job. Thank you for doing a great job. I owe you guys. Hey, by the way, where's John Marks and Anthony Antonici? We have two of them. We have Barry. Thank you, Barry. Barry's got the what am I calling it? The machete out. I like it. Golden State Raider. I bet Raiders are not happy with PSL deposits in Las Vegas. Hey, what are you hearing about those deposits so far? It's just $100, but I can't imagine a lot of people are going for them. I'm trying to find the traffic reports for the website because of the way they have the website design. It's a little difficult to do, but it doesn't seem to be having a dramatic impact on the Raiders website itself in terms of search traffic. Let's see here. So are we getting an expansion team? Asked Brian Lloyd. I think it's too early for that, but I do think we need to form a backup plan in that area. Brian Lloyd, I know if I were mayor of Oakland, I'd certainly have that, or I would have had that ready to go by now. That's me. Okay, Keith Bailey. Rimbaugh. Oakland has moved on. I don't know about that. Let's see here. Keith Bailey. This entire ordeal is like watching your wife leave the house night after night to sleep with their boyfriend. Oh, jeez. Ouch. That reminds me of 1987 when I took my girlfriend to the airport. We were both students at Berkeley, and she told me she was going to visit her grandmom in San Diego. And so I drove her to SFO Airport to Pan Am, and I'm thinking, gee, I didn't know Pan Am went to San Diego, and I've flew a lot then, right? So I was a bit surprised, but hey, you love someone, you trust them. So anyway, she says, pick me up here Monday night. Now, this was Valentine's Day weekend. The Valentine's Day was that Saturday, okay? And so I'm bummed out and can't get a hold of her. There was no cell phones in those days. So Monday night comes. I go to San Francisco International Airport to pick her up at Pan Am. And the only flight on the marquee, it didn't say San Diego. It said Rome JFK. And I felt like a fool. A total fool. So when she came off the airplane, my first words were, you're going to have to find your way home. Sorry about that. I was getting a call there. Sorry about that. I was getting a call there. Hey, a certain person who's trying to call me. I'm on live stream. I will call you back if you see this. Anyway, my point is that there was no cell phone in those days, right? Anyway, there was no cell phone in those days. Anyway, no cell phone. And I walked to the car, and she was behind me. I turned around, looked at her, and I thought, if something goes wrong with her, all right, I'm gonna feel like it was my fault. So I turned around and I said, I'm gonna take you home. Point I'm making is, yeah, I know how that feels. She had actually went to see a guy at Princeton behind my back, and yeah, that was pretty bad. That was, I mean, we made up for that, but well, hey, how you doing, JP from the Heap? Are where? Well, let's see. Will a football-only facility be built in Oakland, regardless of the Raiders' departure? It should be. It should be. Let's see here. If there was a great response for those $100 deposits, the Raiders would be telling the world about it. Crickets. That's true. Let me go back here. Raymond Poss. Davis said he offered the A's a deal to buy into the team and build two separate stadiums, but A's owner refused the deal, but it wanted to buy 20% of the Raiders. Zinni, it was worded as a diss. Oh, I see. But here's the thing, okay, that people should know. That meeting happened when Lou Wolf was the managing partner of the A's. Now, Dave Caval's the president of the A's, and John Fisher is the managing partner. So Davis and Bedane didn't meet with the new A's regime. They came in, I believe it was last October, okay? So, no, Mark didn't tell that right. And JT the Brick, it sounds like, because I didn't hear the interview, let him off the hook by getting away with that. But I know for a fact that was with Lou Wolf and not Dave Caval. Now, Zinni, aren't there any environmental issues with Howard Terminal? Tons, there are. And see, Joseph, that's why the good news is that we can use tax increment financing with Howard Terminal now. A project, if we do the project area as it was described in the 2010 Gruen and Gruen Economic Impact Study, with the assessed value at approximately $676 million, tax increment over 40 years would yield, with 2% increase in value, not including the market turnover, $370 million. Used $150 million of that for land prep for Howard Terminal, $85 million for affordable housing, as well as security, as well as some set aside for not security, but there was the other schools, of course, in your home free. Okay, and $85 million is a huge chunk of money to pour into the Jack London Square district, if you think about its total population and needs and everything else. But it would really go a long way, combined with the other developments, to remake that part of Oakland. Not that it needs to be entirely remade, but this would put it over the top. It really would. Mark Steiner, Zinni, Don Cherry says 24,000 tickets have been sold for deposits. Yeah, that's $100. That's, what? Yeah, 24,000. Okay. Let's see. Reached by pimp and attacked. 24,000 seats do not fill the stadium. No, Raymond Poss is right. I mean, he didn't have to use the jack part about it. But 24,000 that's really bad. You know why? Hey, let's do some quick figuring here. There are going to be about 40,000 PSLs, folks, I believe. Is that right? So, I know one configuration had 40,000 PSLs. So, 24,000 in terms of the total number of PSLs is not correct. In fact, I need to look up, you know what? Let me look up real quick while I have this what the PSL count is. PSL seats, Las Vegas Raiders Stadium. Maybe we can get a head count, right? So, but see, you have to remember that's $100. That's just $100. And not only that, let's see, it's $100. So the Raiders rake in a little bit of change, but you're talking about a 65,000 seat stadium. So 24,000 Yikes. 24,000 sold is not a. Ugh, that's just bad. That's not really all that great. And I'm looking for the total number of PSLs that are available. And where did the. That's interesting. Hey, folks, 24,000 seats is roughly 1/3 of the total. Okay? 1/3. Now, that's not good. And not only that, it's just at $100. Okay. Juan Ramirez, a lot of people from what I see online think that $100 is going towards season tickets. Just wait until they find out it's actually going toward a PSL. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be just like, hey, that's why I called it Raider Deal 2. Because when they start running the credit cards and asking for dollars, they're going to fall off real fast. Man. Let's see here. So max $9,000, most likely $2,000, $9,000. That's right. John says it's like 50,000 in Santa Clara. Rep said it would be similar to Vikings PSLs. Mojo Logo, how are you? Joseph Jones. Okay, thanks. So then why has no one tried the old Navy base? Well, again, the Navy base. Well, I say not again, but here's the thing. The Navy base is under the control of California Capital Group, my friend Phil Tagami, and his Oakland Global intermodal cargo facility. That's been a long dream of his, and he's now on his way to building it. Okay. Let's see here. Thank you, Barry Lee. Nice catch. James McClendon. Zinster. Yeah, Zinsters. I like that. Did Mark Davis say too much on the radio today? I didn't hear it, so that's why I'm counting on you guys. Most people just go to 1 or 2 games, and that's it. In fact, you know what? Maybe I can find that Mark Davis interview, and maybe we can hear some of it. Hold on a second here. JT the Brick. All right. I mean, I don't want to rebroadcast this thing its entirety. Maybe I can get, let's see here. Maybe I can get it here, right? Listen to JT the Brick. JT the Brick needs a website that one can find. This is not cool. Articles, bio, and show info. Fox Sports Radio. John Turno. I gotta say it again. JT the Brick is a cool dude. You know? Okay, so JT does not have it on. He doesn't have his Mark Davis interview up yet. So I don't see that yet here. I'm sure he'll have it up perhaps tomorrow. I don't see it here. I'm looking. I don't see it. Now, if you find it, let me know. Victoria Simpson, I am upset about the April Fool's joke. You got me so excited now I'm upset. That is not funny. Oh well. Let's see here. 95.7. Okay, I'll go there. Oakland Golden State Raider. Raider Central steals all Raider content and profits from it. Yeah, and if you do that and you see them, report them, okay? If you recognize me, find the video you might recognize it from and report them. Because I've done that before. They've got to stop. YouTube will take their videos down. But if they keep it up, I'm going to have their channel yanked. That's awful. Let's see here. James McClendon, do you have the 95.7 The Game app? It will be on there. I do, but here's my concern about playing an entire interview is that it's copyright. I don't have copyright for all that. Remember, the last time I did that, it was just for one snippet, right? And that's different. That's fair use legal rights. But the whole thing, then I am, quite frankly, infringing upon their copyright. That's against the law. And I would be doing what essentially we're talking about Raider Central doing, right? Don't do that. So, Miguel Rose, nice to see you. I'm very well, thank you. Maniac 5900, the guy that interviewed Mark on him is Mark Davis payroll. Yes, he is. And Octavio says on YouTube. Okay. And Steely Brews asks, is the NFL approval contingent on a certain number of PSL sales for Las Vegas? You know, I'm going to put my Eric Grumman hat on. I'm going to say, it's based on a number of factors. PSL sales is certainly one of those factors, but there are others as well. Sponsorships, rights, and securing those sponsorships and payments. But yes, we do consider PSL sales as well. That's how Eric Grubman would say it. how's my Grubman imitation there? Okay. Let's see here. Oh, it wasn't that long? Okay. Hey, Barry Lee, what's up? Golden State Raider. Barry, it's Raider Central. Oh, Raider Central, yeah. Hi, Sabrini. Big Eightful, how are you? Big Eightful says, Mr. Zinni, this is Irwindale all over again. Remember the deal Al made? Yeah, I sure did, because didn't they get to the point where they were actually moving dirt in Irwindale? Remember that? Yeah, this feels like Irwindale all over again. You're right. Raider Central posted it. I am well, thank you. Hi, hello. Let's see here. Okay, Sabrini, what is your question? You said twice what your name is. That's fine. What is your question? What is your question? Let's see here. And where are we? All right. The Raiders are going to Vegas as a total death sentence. However, it's not over till it's over. This is just the first week out, folks. So don't, in any means, think that we're in a position where, oh yeah, it's a done deal and the Raiders are gone. They're not. And, hey, by the way, how many people think that the Raiders should get Cam Robinson, offensive tackle, Alabama, in the draft? Me. Me. Maybe just me. Because he's going to ragdoll Myles Jarrett. I'm sorry, he just is, okay? NFL Talk live stream on right now. I'm writing on Facebook. Let's say hashtag NFL, hashtag Raiders, and hashtag Oakland. There we go. Post to Facebook. Voila, it's gone. Now, thank you very much. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm glad you love me and I'm glad you love Brazil, but what question do you have for the flock? I'm sorry, I'm not into, having conversations like that with avatars. I'm a human being. Anyway, let's see here. Why don't you call 95.7 the game in the morning and tell them some true facts? No. Why don't you have 95.7 the game call me and ask me to tell them the true facts? But I am not giving them my content of my personality and voice. They know how to reach me. They can call me. No. Not at all. Good evening. And not only that, I have 1 million watch time views. Actually, well over that now. Thanks to good people like yourself. Why do I want to give that to 95.7 the game? I got sponsors too. I'm making money too. No. Not at all. Forget them. They know how to reach me. They might even be watching this right now. Ding. Anyway, James McClendon. I definitely want to get on board with a lawsuit to try and retain our beloved Raiders here in Oakland. Barry Lee. Good question, Golden State. Ooh. Golden State Raider. Do we block her? Yeah, well, wait a minute. Yeah, go ahead and block, please. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. I'll save you the trouble. I blocked. Okay? I did it. Because here's the point. Sometimes people judge the behavior by an avatar and what it looks like. I don't. If the behavior is weird, gone. And you know what? If they want to make a point, they'll come back and act like a real person. Like, Crawford 371 or Victoria, who said that she was upset with me. Fine, I get that. I get that. And hey, there's some April Fool news I put out that made me kind of scratch my head once, like the one where I said that Oakland Mayor Gene Kwan had an affair with former Oakland Mayor Ron Dellums. But anyway, you get the idea. Now, Steve Macy. One thing that bugs me: doesn't the league have certain criteria before a team can move? Good fan base and stuff like that. Yeah, it does. And the league willfully violated that law. Stephen Ross pointed that out in his interviews and comments to me. So, yeah. Should the league be called on that? Yes. Is that a court issue? I think it should be. I think it should be tested. I think the league is operating under the idea that it won't be tested. And I think that's a dangerous assumption. I love the NFL, but the way this was handled was not the NFL's finest hour by any stretch of the imagination. By any stretch. No. Barry Lee. At first, I thought it was real, and then I realized it was April Fool, and but it didn't upset me. Well, Barry, I want to talk about that briefly. And JC says we finally have an NFL team. Where, JC? The whole point of that is to get you to think about a possible future, but also what I learned in this instance, there's some people who don't even bother to watch the video, let alone figure out what that LS is in parentheses that was in the title. All right, Lurpa Sloof, right? April Fool spelled backward. Visual and reading comprehension is very important today, because I could be telling you something about, hey, the Golden State Warriors, or that Mark Davis may have a meeting with Kim Jong-un and move the Raiders to North Korea. Could happen. Never know. Never know. How about the Raiders playing an exhibition game in North Korea? You think that's funny? Anyway. Yeah, see? It made you think. And it said Mark Davis seemed like he was being led by JT in the interview. That's interesting, John Santos. Really. That's it. That is interesting. That's interesting. Let's see here. Crawford 371. This is far from over. The deal can fall through. It can. John Santos says the new expansion team, the Oakland Rebels. I like the Invaders. Where's John Marks? But I like that. Miguel Rose. I still don't believe the Raiders are going to Vegas. They still don't have a site for the supposed new stadium, nor is the stadium built yet. So it's not a done deal yet. Not only that, they don't have the site. The soils and the tests could bring up something that they didn't expect. Someone might, poke a shovel in the wrong place and they find a body. I mean, you have this is Vegas, okay? As a friend of mine said, that a lot changed after Bugsy Siegel came back. So my point is that, or came through town, you don't know what they're going to find under there. That's the thing, okay? Now, what about the Las Vegas rejects? There he is, John. Woo! Welcome, John Marks. How you doing? Hey, John. Hey, John, did you hear the Mark Davis interview on 95.7 The Game with my friend JT the Brick? Just asking. Let's see here. Yeah, go for it. You watch that interview and you come back. Thank you. Find a body. Yeah, I'm serious. They could find a body under there. Like I said, it's Vegas. Anybody ever watch Casino? Anyway, Mo Green. I know some people don't like that I say that, but this is beginning to look more and more like that every day. How long will the soils test take? I think about another month. Hey, Roland, 1080, 100, how are you? The Las Vegas Adelsons. Casino is a great movie, yes. Yeah, Ellis Conway says that stuff actually happens. That's what I'm talking about. We think that's, in a movie like The Godfather or Casino or Goodfellas, but all of those stories and many more are based on real life occurrences. Some of them in Las Vegas. Yes, where Mark wants to go. Okay. Cornell is the life. What interview? John Marks asks. Big April says, Mr. Zinni for mayor, at least city council. Well, I missed my council window. I should have challenged Lynette Gibson McElhaney. I didn't do so. I like Lynette, but I digress. Now, let's see. The John Marks, we're talking about the interview that Mark Davis did with JT the Brick, the great JT the Brick, on 95.7 The Game. JT the Brick, awesome guy. Let's see here. Am I the one that talked about Mighty Vista High School? Me? I went to Skyline. No. Golden State Raider. There is a fault in the land bound for earthquakes. Yeah, that's true all over the place. Mandalay Bay, for example, as the article pointed out in the Las Vegas Review-Journal. What I point to is the simple fact that in all these years, that plot of land has not been developed. That is strange to me. That means something is wrong. It just doesn't sit there that way for nothing. Now, maybe it's just because it's across the freeway from the strip, but you would have thought that if someone believed it was worth the investment a long time ago, the proper infrastructure improvements would have been done to improve ingress and egress from the strip to that area wasn't done. Just pointing that out. That's a interesting thing, okay? Now, Miguel Rose says going to Vegas put the Raiders at $2.5 billion in debt, not including the relocation fee, which would be at least $650 million, as well as all the taxes, transportation. Hey, I don't know the relocation fee is that high. I would say maybe it's about $400 million. The NFL's not giving a figure. I don't think it's 350 or 325. I think it's more like 375. Let's see. Heisenberger always went to the desert when he wanted to talk. Yeah, Ellis, he did. See? John Marks. John, thank you. That's a very much nice compliment. Luis Alberto Galindo, how are you? It's been a while. It's been a minute. Thank you. Juan Rubio talks about the scripted interview. Yes. Okay. So, let's see here. Crawford 371 says this Las Vegas deal is like a financial tornado. 831 Scott, the mayor of Las Vegas, was on KHTK 1140 AM Sacramento. She said she would like to see the Raiders build the stadium in downtown Las Vegas instead of the location the Raiders are currently looking at. She has said that repeatedly. Who wanna what? Hey, how are you? Hey, Zinni, does Oakland have a certain amount of time to file a lawsuit before it is too late to do so? You know that statute of limitations deal. I think realistically, they should get it out of the way within the next 180 to 200 days or so. Yeah, that's 180 to 200 days, I think, is a reasonable time limit. That's just from memory. I need to double check that. I mean, we're not talking about something like a murder case. We're talking about a civil case, all right? So, there you go. Maniac 5900, vote for Zenny. Thank you, sir. Who did I miss? Mr. Hero says, stay in Oakland. Is it too late? No, it's not. In fact, you know what? The Raiders are in Oakland. Just pointing that out. In fact, you know what? The Raiders have a big problem. And the problem is that they have X number of staff to operate their current football organization. And you literally have to have another staff that moves them into Las Vegas, finding facilities and so on. So if they haven't done the proper business workflow process analysis to know what personnel they need for what, when, and why, and how much it's going to cost, they're really going to be up a creek without a paddle on this thing. They really are. Yeah, that's no simple task to do what they're being charged to, or basically what they placed on themselves in terms of responsibility. Mateo Vera, if we move to Vegas, when can we possibly come back? Well, let's see here. If you move to Vegas, well, technically anytime. Technically, they're not. I mean, if you say I'm gonna take that, I don't really think about what you're saying. If the stadium is opened and built, and they have a lease obligation, their action would be tantamount to breaking a lease and triggering a new lawsuit. Okay, and it would be definitely from everyone's perspective, Raider deal too. Okay, now Crawford 371, is it still salvageable? Just offer it is still salvageable, says Crawford 371. Just offer the NFL the Coliseum site land and get out of the way. I agree. Everyone should tell Mark Davis that. I agree. Let's see here. Are the Oakland politicians, asked Mark Lovejoy, willing to step up to the plate if Las Vegas deal falls to the wayside? Hope they stay in Oakland. You know, that's a big test. We have a political group that I think is afraid to do big deals. And it comes at a time we have, for the first time in Oakland's post-war history, a healthy investor class that wants to put money in Oakland and at levels that are unprecedented. I have never seen before, with dramatic, exciting housing and office buildings being proposed for downtown Oakland that over the next 6 years will really remake the skyline. Now, let's see here. Why won't Oakland build the Raiders a stadium? Well, actually, it's because the Raiders won't let us, Shabazz. Let's see here. 831 Scott. Hey, Zinni. I've been asking if the Raiders leave and the A's pick Howard Terminal, what happens with Coliseum land? If they develop it, is that the end of Oakland and the NFL? It could be. And in fact, there is one proposal by a biotech company. Trying to find out the name. It's supposed to be secret, but I'm actually making this news. Okay, I'm giving you a scoop. All right, I can't say who I got this from. Okay, but it's from a very, very high placed source. Okay, in city government. All right, and now what I understand is that there is a biotech firm that's ready to spend a lot of money and build a quote game changer facility on Coliseum property if the A's and the Raiders are not there. Now here's what I'm thinking the mayor may have been thinking. All right, so work with me on this. I believe the mayor had this trick. I can't confirm it, but this is what I'm thinking. Okay, make the NFL think we want the A's. We're not budging for the A's. Then we'll get rid of the Raiders. Raiders are gone. Then we put the A's at Howard Terminal. Voila, land is clear, right? She takes a bit of a hit for the Raider issue. She gives the A's the Howard Terminal that they wanted. The biotech company comes in. Every city makes money, new jobs, that sort of thing. There's one problem with that idea, okay? And the problem with that idea is that it is the continued gentrification that causes. What I mean by that is this. Oakland needs a cultural economic development strategy. Bringing in more biotech firms guarantees that only certain kinds of people will be employed for the jobs. Many people who are not female, well, female to an extent, yeah, but not black or brown, all right? And that's an ongoing problem in tech. So we need a more balanced economic development strategy. I'm not poo-pooing biotech, but that has been a problem in terms of who gets employed in tech for a long time in Oakland. It has remade the makeup and the demographics of our population. Excuse me. It has remade our demographics in a way that some believe is unhealthy. So there you go. Now, next one. Let's see here. Ellis Conway, do the employees that currently work for the Raiders also get opportunities to relocate? Or are they out of a job? I don't know how they're handling that. Right now, they're in Oakland. So it's not like they're going to pick up and leave unless they're outed this year. And then where will they go? Levi Stadium? Sam Boyd? I don't know. Where would they go? Let's see here. Are the Oakland politicians willing to step up to the plate? I think I answered that question. B31 Scott. 831 Scott answered a question. Let's see here. Sorry, 831 Scott. Yeah, Ellis Conway mentions Genentech. There's a lot of questions here. Let's see here. 831 Scott. Hey, Zinni, I've been asking the Raiders and the A's leave Howard Terminal. What happens with the Coliseum land? I think I answered that one. John Santos. If and when the A's choose Howard Terminal, can the Raiders or the NFL open up discussion for the existing stadium land? Yeah, they should be doing that right now. They should hurry up. Edward Diggs, and you have no way of knowing that they aren't doing all the things to move successfully. But Edward Diggs, I mean, hold on a second. You come off like, I'm talking as if they don't have the answers and yada, yada, yada. This is not rocket science. It's not hard to figure out what an organization is supposed to do or how much personnel they have, okay? And not only that, you never tell anybody that they shouldn't ask a question. I mean, how would you like it if I shut you down from asking a sensible question or raising a sensible point? You wouldn't like it. How would you like it if you did that here and I blocked you? You wouldn't like it, right? So don't particularly come to my channel and use that kind of verbiage with people. It's wrong. If you have an issue with people asking intelligent questions, you know what? You need to go with your friends, sit down over, whatever your favorite beverage is, and talk to them about what's going on in your head that causes that. Because that's a deep issue. You don't ever in your life stymie intelligent discussion. If you don't like a question, hey, So what? You know, deal with the question and move on. All right. So my point is this. Now, okay, John Santos. See, who else is here? Oh, is there anything I can do to help Oakland retain the Raiders? Donations, making phone calls, writing letters. Hey, who wanna what? Send me an email to zinni@zinni62.com. I'll do that. All right. Now, uh, John Marks. Would anyone watch NHL in Oakland? Me, I would. I'm a big advocate for hockey in Oakland. You know what? The Sharks need a challenger. Why not the Oakland Seals? I say yes. Juan Rubio, it's proven that the bedrock of the type of stone in the Vegas ground is harder to drill. Will take longer to build. Donna Stewart, how are you? Golden State Raiders, Zinni, I hear Mark Bedane watched your YouTube and Raiders deal. Which one? Which one? I'm pretty sure Bedane watches this one. Hey, look, how do you know Mark Bedane isn't one of the moderators here or one of the people here? He could be, okay? Just having fun and goofing around, I'm going to get that Zinni. I like Mark. In fact, that'll be kind of fun, T. Cooper, hello Zinni, always enjoy your vlogs, thank you. Octavio Arias, build it. Let's see, John Marks, remember the California Golden Seals, thank you. Ellis Conway, Genentech. Mateo Oliveira, how many fans might we lose when we move? Oh, quite a bit. I think the majority. Mr. Hero, Mark Davis is not. I'm going to hold on a second. Whoa, time out. Time out. Mark Davis is not done. Okay? He has his way of doing it, but I will not entertain or agree with insults at all. Okay? Not at all. All right? Now, let's see here. Corey Blount, Oakland politicians seem to be running their mouths out of anger right now. So it is even possible to work a deal in Oakland if the Vegas plan falls apart. Yes, it is, Corey. Gabriel Mackinson, what are you guys talking about? I'm just curious. That's a question. Zinni, why are all CHP officers white? Only ask Golden State Raider. Hey, Golden State Raider, you should go to Google and I seriously type California Highway Patrol 2005 Latino lawsuit. Check that out, okay? Now, 2005, 2000, yeah. Now, Russell Rivera, I question A's want Howard Terminal. If they did, could have had site years ago. Actually, they could not have. I believe they want Brooklyn Basin site. Russell, the difference is that California Governor Jerry Brown signed into law in October 2014 basically the enhanced industrial development zone provision allowing the use now of tax increment revenue financing, which wasn't possible after 2011. So why do I say that? Because it makes it easier to raise money to refurbish the land, prep the land for infrastructure at Howard Terminal. That's why. Okay, now let's see. Maniac 5,900 people are just blindsided because it's Las Vegas. They don't think about the numbers. They also say you should be a fan no matter what. But if you're a true fan, you wouldn't want your team in billions in debt. I agree. This is a deal that you don't want to give to your friends. Crawford 371. Would the A's consider Brooklyn Basin? Oh, Brooklyn Basin. Are you talking about Deshaun Dixon's plan, which I love? I think is fantastic. I think they would, but the problem is that there's a lot more power. There are a lot more power people that want Howard Terminal, and again, it's better situated than the other one in terms of its impact and view. That just took on a life of its own. In fact, Brooklyn Basin and Deshaun Dixon's plan are almost reactions to Howard Terminal. It's like kind of a Me Too reaction. Howard Terminal gained steam a long time ago. Now, Pinch Anthony, hey Zinni, bruh, how you doing? Let's see here. Ellis Conway, is Libby a secret 49er fan? I don't think so. Let's see here. Let's see. Mark Bedane was the guy behind posing as Dr. Death. That's funny. Let's see here. Mr. Hero, bro, you need your own show. I got one here on YouTube. YouTube has been very good to me, but if you say on television, you're right, and that would be a lot of fun to have that. In fact, to make this on television, I wonder if that's doable. You take a live stream, right? And you put it on television live. You have a live stream streamed live on television. That's interesting. Now, yeah, of course you could do that. What am I saying? That would be interesting. That would be interesting. What might be the cost for tickets in Vegas? Oh, 2,000 to 3,000, something like that. 2,000 to 9,000, 10,000, somewhere in there. You know what? No, let me stop. It's more than that. It's more like, I believe at one point I saw an estimate of 6,000. At one point it was 15,000 average, somewhere in there. It may have come down, but the bottom line is it wasn't. It was high enough to send the message that a different kind of Raider fan would be going to the game. Okay, but I'll get a breakdown of fan costs for you, an estimated breakdown of fan costs for you. I think that'll help. Yeah. Let's see here. Lady L. Richards, no one can ever question your heart, Zony. Thank you. The Pine Tree 88, how are you? How can the issue of access to Howard Tunnel be convenient for A's fans? That area is pretty secluded. Pine Tree, that's an excellent point. Now, the whole purpose of this comprehensive development plan for Howard Terminal, including the land prep at $150 million, is to, make it a new urban town, give it a new urban fabric within Oakland. What I mean by that is it already has the grid system, but a set of design guidelines for new buildings based on the design will be an exciting new ballpark with a great facade that blends in with the current Oakland design down there. And if you can imagine, not just the 35,000 people, but the people who come down, the different restaurants, shops, the 400-room hotel in my configuration, and the other developments that will basically make this a new town in Oakland. Yeah. Now, let's see here. Let's go Warriors. Did Mark get a conditional approval? It's conditional without being conditional. In other words, they said you go and you figure out something. That's basically what it is. It's like, you go do this thing. You figure it out. Have fun. Now, let's see here. John Mark says, I was around but never been at Oakland Stompers in NASL games. Hey, I encourage everybody to support women's roller derby in Oakland. The bad team. Hat tip to them. Just got to say that. Support women in athletics and in sports. Yes. Let's see here. Oakland. Oh, the Oakland Vaders. Octavio Arias says the Oakland Vaders. Hey, Octavio, I'm sorry if I missed your Skype call the other time, or Skype connection. I'll respond. Sorry about that. D. Dixon. Why not D. Short Dixon site? Why not Deshaun Dixon site? I have nothing against Deshaun's site myself. But I think that what's going on, Mr. Dixon, is that, as I explained to Deshaun a long time ago, between you've got a lot of powers that be. You've got the president of the Port Commission. You've got the governor of California. You have a number of people who have already believed that Howard Terminal is the best site for the A's, including the A's themselves. And I really encourage Deshaun to take those brains of his and develop something that the A's would want. He met with Dave Cavo, right? And develop a design for him. Don't just try to shoehorn or push his idea on Cavall, because then he comes off like. Has anyone ever read The Fountainhead or seen the movie The Fountainhead with not with Gregory Peck, but the other actor? Maybe it was Gregory Peck, but the whole point is that The Fountainhead was about Howard Rourke. And Howard Rourke was this genius architect who believed that he knew better than anybody else. It was written by Ayn Rand, who is the mother of the thought, a way of thinking, an affect, a kind of religion, approach, an ideology called objectivism. And the idea of objectivism is I do what I want, and because I can do what I want, it benefits you, regardless of what I do. That's the purest form of objectivism. And sometimes Deshaun in this instance, comes off like that. What I want is in your best interest, and you don't know it. Even if you want something different, no, it's just what I want, and it's my design, and that's it, and it's right here. And that is where he creates frustration for himself that would go away if he were more concerned about bringing his ideas, mating his design ideas with a land use that somebody else wants to execute. All right, that's what that would take Deshaun a long way. It would unlock him. That's that. I'm serious. The man's already bright design wise, but that political part gets that out of the way. Take it off, man. Just take it off, okay? Because he's a genius. He really is. Now, hey Frosty, how are you? Yeah, Gary Cooper. Thank you, Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper. All right. Let's see here. Melvin Lovejoy, I bet Mark Davis has noticed a drop in jersey sales. I'll have to check that one. Mateo Oliveira, why would Davis offer 20% of the team to the A's owner? I just got a message that said off Bleach Report. Because Davis has long been cash strapped. The Raiders have suffered from years of what are called dead money deals in the NFL, and up to, I think, at one point, $150 million in dead money contracts. And that was, I believe, if memory serves, as far back or as recently as 2011, 2012. And Reggie McKenzie was brought in to really clean up that mess, okay? So, and he's done a great job of doing that. Reggie McKenzie is one of the best general managers in the National Football League, without question. And a fine man, too. Yeah, I like Reggie a lot. Now, let's see here. Raider Menace. Libby gets Coliseum land to develop. Warriors get ASF. A's get Oakland Howard Terminal. Raiders get Vegas. Pre-planned by Golden State. I don't know that was pre-planned. It's easy to say that, hindsight's always 20/20. Nah. Miguel Rose. Vegas is a lose-lose situation for the Raiders because Vegas sports market isn't nearly as big as Oakland's. That's true. But you've noticed that the NFL is reportedly going to allow sports betting on its games. Ooh. And then Jerry Jones wants to legalize marijuana at football stadiums. Ooh, you talk about getting drunk and stoned. What is he proposing? Wow, that is something else, man. I mean, maybe if he does that, it'll keep a lot of players out of trouble. I don't know. From holy roller to high roller. What a shame. That's funny. Let's see here. Joseph Jones, why didn't Davis offer to sell to Oakland? That's a good question. Good question. P. Lamont Stone, have you offered to help Libby? Oh, there's a bear crap in the woods. Jeez. Huh. Crawford 371, there is a need to have a task force. Yes, with business leaders, fan groups, and Bay Area sports reps to get something going with the Coliseum site. And I think I'll form one. Rather than talking about it, I'm going to do it. Stay tuned, folks. Now, let's see here. What am I getting? What else? How long? Let's see here. Let's see. You don't want drunk Raider fans in the stadium, says Mateo Oliveira. Flash of Thunder says, ha ha ha, fans being high during game. That would be hilarious. Yeah, that would be, you can say that again. Hilarious. Yeah, that's one way. That's one way of putting it. Greed is going to kill the NFL. Yes. Raider Minister, does the NFL want gambling money? It sure seems that way. It does. Jerry's Legends Corporation is straight up insider trading. Hey, not only is Jerry's Legends Corporation straight up insider trading, but do you know that the Dallas Cowboys have part ownership in Construction Sports and Leisure, the company that does the analysis, the market analysis for the National Football League for relocation, including in this case? I'm going to put that out there because Eric alluded to that in a question that Sam Farmer of the LA Times asked him. Ooh. Okay. I don't know that Legends is publicly traded. And Eric says yes. The Coliseum, says Brian Lloyd, is already having fans drunk and stoned. It's true. 831 Scott says, thank you for answering my question about the Coliseum land development. You're welcome. So I guess that means no expansion team or the Raiders can't come back if the land is developed at the Coliseum site. As far as the expansion team, that would have to come by NFL vote. The minute the NFL allows an expansion team in Oakland, it closes the door on the Raiders. Boom. Okay? So that's... But it's worth exploring to see, to take the temperature of the league and see if that's possible. Joseph Jones, well, I understand why Libby didn't want to give public funds. Actually, she did some. It upsets me that she didn't give us the choice. You mean as voters? I think that would have been disastrous. That would have gotten spun so many different ways. I think Libby made the right call there. I'm sorry, I can't go against her there. That was the right call. Because look, to give us the vote means not just giving us the vote, it also refers to the costly process of holding a special election, okay? As well as other developments that you and I didn't anticipate that occurred during the politicking for, the votes for such a thing. And then you've got, the vote that happened down in San Diego, and you don't want to have that whisper out there of people saying, do the same thing in Oakland, do the same thing in Oakland. That would have happened, right? So I think Libby made the right call there, okay? Let's see, did Libby lie about the league not offering to buy or lease the land? Well, what happened was this. The league offered to buy it for $1, all right? So when Libby says they didn't want to buy it, technically she's right. When the NFL said they wanted to buy it, technically they're right. But they're only playing $1. $1. Armin Hamian, I am new and I have no idea how I found you. I'm so proud of your perspective. That makes my day. Thank you very much for saying that. Thank you. No vote. No, Octavio's right. No vote would pass. Miguel Rose, if the Raiders do go to Vegas, how are they and the NFL going to prevent and stop NFL football players from gambling? They won't. On NFL games, they won't. During each and every NFL football season, they won't. What are they going to do? Have a cop following every player around everywhere they go in Vegas? Yeah, right. Bug their phone all the time? Edward Snowden style? Huh. Let's see. Christian Akala. Did I pronounce that correctly? Oakland should have given the land to Mark and Raiders for free. I'm not against that. Okay? I'm not against that because as I told Libby, we'd have a property tax payer. I don't care what Bedane wanted. If I were the mayor, I would not waive the property tax. I count it and use it for redevelopment, tax increment financing, and which would basically help the stadium. In fact, think about it this way, all right? If we applied TIF in the Raiders situation, and let's say just for grins we were able to raise $300 million on top of the $350 million they're giving up in future tax revenues, that's $650 million we would apply to Raiders Stadium. You're going to tell me that wouldn't be competitive with the Las Vegas proposal? Of course it would have. Of course it would have. Anyway, and not only that, we would have been able to do that with part of the property, but then develop the rest of the property and have more new property tax revenue that wasn't redevelopment for Oakland and its taxing entities, specifically the County of Alameda, BART, the Flood Control District, and so on. Yeah. Let's see here. Miguel Rose said, the NFL needs to hurry up and legalize weed. Joseph Jones says, I don't know who would pay to see the game when you can go to any sports book, watch it for free, plus some alcohol and food, which is fun. Hey, there are a few things more fun than a Vegas sports book. Just hanging out in those big overstuffed chairs, got your screen over here, got the cocktail waitress over there, fresh from her, gym workout, and she's looking great and all that. Okay, you got your cigar over here and your food over there if you want it, and then you just kick back and you watch the world of sports unfold in front of you. That's a big man cave for you. Okay, now, okay. The interview sounds like Davis is having second thoughts. Hey, Crawford, is that what you got from that interview? Because I haven't heard it. And that's consistent with what's been going on with Mark Davis. That's interesting. Did you just hear that and get that? Write that again, Crawford 371. I want people to see that, okay? I want people to see that. Write that in big letters, okay? Now, Barry Lee says, I'm torn, Zinni, with the NFL. I feel they don't care about the fans at all, but at the same time, I understand the need for more suites. But when will enough be enough? When ratings go down. In fact, this is the year to watch the NFL ratings and see if they take a dive. If they take a dive with all these moves, you got a problem, okay? Now, inside the park home run for the A's. Let's see here. Russell Rivera. Mark was pleading with fans to support him. He knows without Oakland officials, the Oakland diehards, he's sunk. Yes. Shabadoo 571. What is it that Davis Raiders want from Oakland? I'm ignorant of that side of the situation. We don't get a lot of NFL inside news in Scotland. Hey, wait a minute. Let's all welcome Shabadoo 572 from Scotland. Welcome. I'm saying welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the Zinsters. Is it Shabadoo? Shabadoo. I'll just say Shabadoo. Shabadoo. There you go. Welcome. Shabadoo 572. Shabadoo 572. Anyway, sorry. Excuse me. Raymond Paz. He sounds sad about this deal, especially over the Oakland Raiders diehards he lost already. There you go. Miguel Rose. Hey, Zinni. When are the Raiders cheerleaders going to come and do a live stream with you? Will Raiders Blast let them? I wonder if Will Kiss will allow that. Zinni. Interesting. But you do give me an idea. In fact, you do give me an idea. Bernard 543. What's good, Zinni? But it's not the idea you think. I'll give you a hint. It involves the law. Now, let's see. Crawford 371. The way JT was asking questions, it sounded like a plan to sabotage since Brick is a loyal shill. Interesting. Anthony Antonucci, how are you, sir? This Raiders move will probably be a hit early on, but how long before we see empty seats in Vegas, regardless of casinos buying seats? Well, considering the casinos aren't really working with the Raiders right now, I just and considering that Mark Davis hasn't shored up that relationship right now, I'm still skeptical the deal even gets that far. I really am. Let's see here. In the interview, let's see. John Fernandez says, hello, everyone. Thanks, Zinni. Thank you. Jovi Fernandez, thank you. Mateo says, in the interviewer is being persistent. Okay. That's JT. That's his style. Andrew Cipher. Hey, Andrew. After what Mark Davis said today, he just needs to stop talking at this point. Nobody wants to hear what he has to say. Now, Activity Hour says, Black Hole Ladies to the live stream. There you go. Corey Brown says, if they do end up there in Las Vegas, the Raider Eyes are going to have to step up their game considering the local options. No, can you explain that, Corey, please? Now, Joseph Jones, I don't see casinos stepping on Edison's toes. No, I don't either. There's a problem there. It's good to see you, Anthony. It's good to see everybody. This is a nice club, a nice club of good people. It really is. Quite enjoy these hangout times, and this is a lot of fun. I have to say, it's a lot of fun. Okay, and I'm posting now to Google Plus, and I'll post one more to Facebook. Let's see here, Oakland Sports Talk, NFL, Raiders, and then athletics. Inside the park home run. Doggone it, I missed that. Post to Facebook. Now tomorrow, folks, at 7:30, special time. All right, special time, 7:30 Pacific, and 10:30 Eastern. I'm going to have Nestor Aparicio, longtime Baltimore news personality, sports personality, knows Mike Tomlin very well. Rex Ryan, longtime NFL broadcaster and commentator, has a great podcast out of Baltimore. and he's going to join me on a special live stream tomorrow. We're going to talk about baseball, relocation, Baltimore and Oakland, NFL and MLB. You gotta come and check us out. Now, let's see here. Thank you for subbing, Mateo. Joseph Jones, the only people who will profit is the cable company because Vegas is such a small market. They won't be able to broadcast everywhere. Great point. Nasty Nestor. Raven Insider. Raven Insider, you know what I'm talking about, right? What do you think of? What do you think? You call him Nasty Nestor. What do you think of Nestor? Give him a shout out for me, all right? Thank you. Russell Rivera. Can we petition? Oh, Jason Masson. Sorry, Jason. I somehow see the Raiders are going to change their minds once they see the Coliseum empty this coming season and claim Las Vegas will not work based on attendance that occurred in the Oakland Coliseum. That's a great possibility. Russell Rivera. Can we petition Libby to force sale of land to NFL? You certainly can. You can even call the mayor's office in Oakland, or yeah, you can definitely do that. David Lawrence, wait a minute, Shabadoo, you are quite the welcoming bunch. Like and sub, thank you, Shabadoo. Off to my first NFL game in this year when they come to UK. There you go. Dave Lawrence, hey Zinni, I'm new to your club. Welcome. What do you think forced Kronk to vote to have Raiders move 3 hours away from his new stadium? I think it really had to do with just trying to send a message to Oakland and say, you know, we didn't like the way you guys handled this deal. We don't think the Vegas deal is going to work well, so let's just give him the opportunity to do this upside. Now, something else. It was also an open vote. Had it been a secret ballot, I think Stan would have voted the other way. In fact, I'm certain of it. Now, let's see here. Yes, Mark Davis could change his mind. Hey, Henry Flores, how are you? Can you give me an example, Zinni, of how they, casino gangsters, can exploit the Raiders through money laundering? Oh, that's easy. Let me give you a scenario based on something that happened in 2012, all right? Or anyone. In Las Vegas in particular, the high rollers generally come from Macau and China. And they don't want to be known. They don't want their names to be known out there. So what they'll do is they will arrange with a hotel like Las Vegas Sands for something called a shill. All right? A shill is, no, not a media person. A shill is generally a housekeeper at the hotel, commonly Chinese and commonly a woman. And that shill goes into the baccarat tables with the gambler. And these people spend a lot of money. That person sits right next to the gambler. And this is known, okay? This is quite known. So that gambler places his bet. The shill offers her name as the credit along with the hotel. Now what happens is that the shill gets a percentage of the monies that the gambler uses as a payment for services along with any winnings. Now, if it comes to a point where the gambler has lost money, then the gambler is to pay the shill to pay off the debt obligation. If that doesn't happen, then the hotel would say to the shill, hey, we've got a problem. And separate from the hotel, the Nevada and Las Vegas police would get involved because that's considered a criminal act there. It's not, it's truly, it's more like a debtor's prison there, all right? Now, having said that, they'll work out a deal. Now, that's one way. Now, the question is, they do all this to hide their identities. Now, they can and hide where their money is going. Similarly, they could have the shills take part of their monies on behalf of the same gambler and buy a luxury suite, right? Or season tickets. So you see how that could possibly work? But again, it's in that shill's name and not in the name of the gambler that won the money. So that's how that could work. Now, okay. So did I answer your question? Raven Insider. Nasty is the man. WNST out here in B-More was a big thing until the market got flooded with a ton of sports talk competitors. Yep. Big Eightful to Mr. Zinni and the rest of Zinsters. Thank you for a great night. Thank you. Gotta work in the morning. I'm gone. Oakland Raiders for life. Thank you, Big Eightful. 88ful, excuse me. Armin Hatebian, consider this for a second and consider this profundity. None of the parties involved in all the steelmaking process care for the simple old fan. I've raised 2 loyal Raider boys. Armin, it seems you're absolutely right. Isaac Rojas, what was the outcome of the Larry Ellison Oracle rumor helping the Raiders build a stadium with mixed development? I don't know. That's a good question. I'll follow up on that. The rumor is around 3 to 6 years old. Did you ever hear about that rumor? I certainly did, Isaac. It's worth checking into. 831 Scott, Zinni, has the BFA financing been approved yet? I haven't heard it. And you say you haven't heard of it? I haven't heard either. I'll keep checking. Aaron Blaylock, remember when the Giants were signed, sealed, and delivered to Tampa? I sure do. Is it true the Vegas mayor has cold feet? Asks Anthony Antonucci. She wants Davis downtown. She is quite upset over the way she's been treated. She's been kind of pushed to the side. And if you notice at the signing deal, the day that, I think it was the October 10th day, the October 8th day, I believe it was, that the subsidy deal was signed, Ms. Goodman was off to the side. She wasn't one of the main elected officials right up front. I thought that was bad protocol myself. Let's see here. I believe I answered that one from Mike. Let's see. Let me go down and see what I'm missing here. John Matson. Not only Larry McNeil, but what happened to Eddie DeBartolo? That was just exploratory. Mr. D didn't really intend to do anything there. Miguel Rose, unless it was good for him, Miguel Rose, in their new Vegas stadium, the Raiders will have to check for all those holes in the desert because there might be a bunch of dead bodies buried in each of those holes, including Mo Green. Could happen. Could be. Hashtag Raider Nation. John Marks calls for us to boycott Bank of America. And Elliot Stimpers, yo, did it really affect them or not? What are you talking about? Alessandro De Silvio. I love that name. First time reading that name, I love that name. Welcome, Alessandro De Silva. That sounds like a character in James Bond's Spectre. The bad guy, right? Anyway. Hey, Zinni. A's go to Howard Terminal. Race day at Coliseum site. Vegas deal goes away. How do you see this playing out? I do see that happening. Barry Lee, I can just picture all the boats out in the harbor when the A's hit out of the park. Me too. I can see one of the balls hitting one of those container ships. In the landing on the bridge, breaking the glass. That'd be an interesting commercial. Hey, there's a commercial for the A's. Let's see here. Hey, Zinni, can you elaborate on as best you can on the relationship between brass of the Raiders and the A's? Yeah, it's new because Caval just got in late 2016. He hasn't had, to my knowledge, a formal meeting with the Raiders people. That was with the Lou Wolf people. So it's all new, okay? It's all new. But I'll dig and see if I can get some more on that. Let's see here. Russell Rivera, they have shills at the card houses in San Jose. Paid to take your money. There you go. Crawford 371, I agree with the idea that the NFL is teaching Oakland a lesson and see if they're getting scared straight. Yeah, well, Libby shouldn't have basically laid down the whole... I mean, I support the public money thing that she did. I thought it was just, okay? But within that, you have to be flexible. She tried to be, but she played out too much what she was doing in the media. She didn't have the right people involved, okay? All right. Anyway. No, there's not just me. So, there you go. Let's see here. Zinni, what will the NFL do if Sheldon Nelson suddenly becomes a Mark Davis benefactor? I think there's nothing they can do. Nothing. I mean, but that development of itself would be quite interesting. I think the question is, what will Mark Davis do if Adelson becomes a benefactor? Because you know Adelson's going to want something. So I'm less concerned about the NFL than I'm concerned about Mark Davis. All right? Armin Hatamian. When will this officially be done? Like irreversible kind of done. Ignore a stupid question. It's not a stupid question. I'm learning from you guys about the business behind sports. Armin, it's not a stupid question. When this becomes officially a done deal is 2 years after groundbreaking. Because you can break ground on something and then stop within the first year or so. But after 2 years, well, a year and a half, you're really well into it. And you're more near completion than not. So when that gets started and they start putting caissons in the ground and everything, they start moving dirt, then you got a problem. Okay? That is when you got a real problem. Prior to that, it's like, hey, this could go this way or that way. But when they start putting holes in the ground and they've held their groundbreaking and the dirt movers are on the site and you got, portable seats out there waiting to be placed and basically so much steel it could basically, wrap a good part of a downtown, then you are done. Okay, yeah. Who else will be on your task force? I don't know, but it's going to be huge. I know, I have an idea. Sorry for the language, Zinni, but where the hell is Lonnie Lott? Good damn question. Johnny Marks. I want to be on Zinni's Oakland task force. You're signed up. Free tacos with every shipping container hit. I like that. Las Vegas Stadium, not in city limits, not that beneficial to Mayor's constituency. True. But it is very very beneficial to the constituency of the great Steve Sisolak, the man I believe should be and will be the next governor of Nevada. Now, let's see here. It's 1 o'clock. I started a little after 11. It's past 8 minutes and 37 seconds. We're past an hour. Hey, do it, Zinni. I will. So I started, let's see here. I should go, I'll figure it out, whatever. Let's see here. Henry Flores. Zinni, you're saying the NFL will do nothing. What if this is all a ploy and it was always in Mark Davis' best interest to have Sheldon Adelson? And I believe that. And I believed that until I talked to Steve Sisolak and he told me that Davis hadn't mended that fence yet. Okay? So I believed that same thing. But after I talked to the commissioner, the Clark County chair, I've got a second thought now. Isaac Rojas, when do you think B of A will have the representative go public and state, I don't know that that's going to happen yet, but I'll check. Raven Nader, has Amy Trask said anything about the move? Why was she fired? I'm sure she said something, I just haven't heard it. As to why she was fired, it was more resignation. But I think I'm going to leave that one alone. Just on the off chance that Amy might be listening to this, and I don't want to say anything that inadvertently might hurt her feelings, okay? So there. I like Amy. And I need to interview her about her book. Okay. Now, Jason Matson. Mark Davis didn't get along well with Amy in some way. Yeah, I've heard that. Alice Snipperitz. Who will they hire since she was fired? Henry Flores. Zinni, I feel for all of us Raider fans, but I feel more for Ronnie Lott, Marcus Allen, and Rodney Peete. They were denied NFL ownership. Well, they can always come around again, but I do feel that they need to be better to the fans and come out and make a statement. They have been too silent. It's like they were here and some people think that what they were saying was fake now because they didn't come out and embrace it. You have to be careful how you treat yourself in such a way that you do not put out the idea as a celebrity that you are more important than other people. because that can go south on you as quickly as it helped you initially. You know what I mean? So if Ronnie is listening to this, Ronnie and Ronnie Lott, Rodney Pete, Marcus Allen, Holly Robinson Pete all need to come together and give a party for Raiders fans and say thank you very much for your support. I think that's the right thing to do, because if they don't do that, it just looks so bad. It really does. Don't you think? Do you agree with me? If you don't, let me know. Hey. I would love to have Amy Trask on the task force. Crawford 371. We're rolling 100. When is the next owners meeting? That is in a few months. Actually, we have the draft coming up now. And I got to do my mock draft. The rolling 100. If so, are you going to be there? Yes. Let's see here. Joseph Gonzalez. Is there any way we as fans can give a stake, gave a stake in the Raiders as Packer fans do? I'm going to research that. There is, but I don't know if there's a stomach for that right now. Thank you, John Marks. Joey Fernandez, yes. Miguel Rose, Zinni, I agree with you 100% completely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm toying with the idea of doing one of those all-day live streams. I've never done that before. The thing just leaves the thing running, and then there's a guy in Seattle who's a pioneer vlogger. He used to do that. Just let the thing run. People would just watch it, waiting for him to come back. It was interesting, Huh. Joseph Gunn said, I may have a stake. Shabadoo from Scotland. Who? Luciano Perunda. I thought the NFL told Ronnie and Fortress to get their ducks in a row until LB fizzled out. Well, that's different than now. I mean, now this is a time to really bring people together and talk and do a debrief. No one's done that. The mayor could do that with fans. I could do that. Yeah, why am I talking about other people? I got you guys. We got to do a debrief of that kind. Live rather than this. Get somebody to sponsor that. The Rolling 100. Lot hasn't come out because it's not over. Anthony Antonucci. Sadly, the only Raider fans supporting Oakland are Oakland fans. But there's a lot of us. The bulk of us nationally don't give a piss about staying and supporting Vegas. Grrr. Good point. Haley Mew, do you think the Raiders might go for Joe Mixon if Lynch or Peterson fall through? Yeah, I do, Haley, and that's based on the reaction that Jack Del Rio gave to me when I mentioned Joe Mixon at the behest of a live stream viewer, and he goes, "What?" He was very biting about it. I thought, okay, that means he likes him. Let's see. How the Oakland fans mix with the new fans. Could there be gang activity? Yeah. Let's see here. Crawford 371. Could you do a live stream covering the potential severe weather in Georgia? Yes, I can, because we've had it. Would you want me to stand outside and do it? Is that what you're saying? Stand outside and have a bit of hailstorm, all that stuff? Oh man. Okay. Let's see here. Armin Haitian. Mark Davis will probably do parties or throw the fans some bone. That's what he meant when he said, I'll do a deal. I'll deal with them after the vote in the press conference. Expect it, but please. Okay? Let's see here. The Rolling 100, ha ha ha. Laugh out loud. Armin Haitian. I want my damn team playing under the bay. Moving over the parking lot. We get the grill ready. 22-ounce steaks, please. Thank you very much. 22-ounce steaks. Yes. Rashawn Morrison. I've been hearing rumblings about Chargers interested in the Bay Area. Any truth or possibility of that? Hey, San Diego here? I will check. That's the first I've heard about it. Raymond Plus. Oakland fans sold 78% of PSLs and season tickets. Are you kidding me right now? 78% of... Wait a minute. 78% of PSLs and season tickets mean right now? You mean for this season? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You could be the next Jim Cantori. Thank you, Crawford. Interesting. David King Raiders. Oh, that's funny. That's a delayed one. I got that one. David King Raiders. With the A's possibly moving to Howard Terminal, is it still a done deal if the Raiders are still moving? It's not a done deal until, they start breaking ground. Zinni, I don't care what Boss Man says about Kim Kardashian. She is hot. Yes, I agree. I hope my future ex-wife looks exactly like her, Henry Flores. I completely 1,000% agree. Yeah, I thought Boss was off the rails on that one. I completely disagree. I completely disagree. John Marks is an original PSL holder here. Anthony Antonucci, how many Oakland fans do you think we have? How much pressure could we exert as a voting bloc, boycotting group, etc.? How influential could we be if properly motivated to action? And that is a $64,000 question. Shabadoo572, what is a PSL? It is called a personal seat license, and it was created by a guy I know named Mark Gannis of Sports Corp in Chicago, and basically you're buying a right to buy season tickets on an annual basis. You can sell that right to somebody else. That's what it is. And it's a creative idea, a way of financing the construction of stadiums he developed. Yeah. Let's see. Patrick M. Blackman. Oakland needs to draft 2 cornerbacks with the first 2 picks. The Raiders won the last Super Bowl with 2 great cornerbacks. Yes, they did. Yes. Now, let's see here. Keep them here. Armin Hatamian says, keep them here, and I'll throw you a real Armenian barbecue. Thank you, brother. Don't wait for Shaft to call. You call her. We'll back you. Thank you. John Marks, personal seat license. Russell Rivera, Anthony Antonucci, I'm in. A Seattle Raider fan, 96. Great show as always, Zinni. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really respect all the work you do for everyone. Thank you. That makes my day. Thank you. Anthony Fitzgerald, with recent GOP climate change in Las Vegas, can they reverse SB1? That's an interesting question. Shabadoo572. Here we have just season tickets, and the particular seats got passed through families like a dynasty in Scotland. Hey, what's the best... What city are you in Scotland? Just curious, okay? You don't have to tell us all the details, just the city, right? Let's see. We need linebacker more. We need a good defensive end. Yeah. Barry Lee. Zinni, have a good time for off to bed. See you tomorrow. Good night. Yeah, I've got to wake up early myself. So I think I'm going to sign off a bit early myself here. Once this reaches, this is 97 minutes already. And I think once this reaches the 100 minute mark or thereabouts, because I am, that's about time to sign off, because I've got to take care of something for my dear old mom in the morning. So, Tom Meany, I do not owe Benjamin Allbright $500, and I will tell you why. I've said it before, and I will say it again. He violated Twitter rules, and he did something that I'm not going to repeat what he did, that if I continued to report that Twitter emailed me back on, I could have had his Twitter account yanked. I didn't do that. I left it alone, but I blocked him, and that's it. So, having said that, I'll say this. That's really not your life or your issue. So, why you're chiming in on it, I don't know. Unless, of course, you're Benjamin Allbright. But my point is that I've said it, and I'm not going to say it again. If I see it again after this, I think I'm just going to block people who mention it, because it's a little obnoxious, And I've seen it enough to where I'm starting to consider it a bit of a harassment. And if I start to look at it that way, and I block you, the best thing for you to do is to just simply back off. Got it? Okay. Now, let's see here. Can you evolve? Let's see here. The city of Oakland has to work up warp speed to keep up the Raiders. Yes. The Scottish Claymores. Yes. Let's make Howard Terminal happen. I agree. Let's see here. Richard Lurso. Hi, Zinni. Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Richard, you've been a while. Gone for a while. Yeah. It's snowing right now in the Mile High City. Yeah, I heard him on JT the Brick. He threw the city of Oakland and the mayor Libby, I guess, under the buses. You didn't complete that sentence. Yeah, sad. Let's see here. Thanks for the show. I've been on Oakland Raiders up to the news. Thank you. Who among the Oakland Raiders is the best at keeping the breath underwater? I have no idea what you're talking about. Any lawsuit updates? I asked for one more, so not yet. Will Aldon Smith ever play for the Raiders? But I do ask you this. Can you imagine Aldon Smith in Las Vegas with legalized marijuana? Just asking. Let's see here. Glasgow. Wait a minute. Are you a Glasgow pub crawler like the one in Star Trek? Just asking. The Angels just took the lead. No. Come on, A's. Oh, no. 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 Come on, A's. Fight back. Come on, A's. Fight back. Oh, come on, A's. Fight back. Doggone it. Fight back, A's. Fight back, A's. Yeah, Alden is a mess. Alden Smith is a mess. Sad. Very sad. Free Alden says, hashtag Free Alden says Haley Mew. I like that. John Marks, let's go Oakland. Yes. Bruce Lee was also a Raiders fan. Hey folks, it's 1:13 here Eastern. And hold on a second. Joseph Gonzalez. Just heard Mark Davis interview. He says he offered 20% of ownership to help with stadium financing. Wow, no takers? Well, he did have two. He had Floyd Gephardt, but the deal was such that it looked bad politically. It looked like we were giving public money to make Floyd Gephardt a rich owner of the the Raiders. That's what it looked like. And when the idea is he supposedly had his own financing and his own money and all that stuff, it looked bad. And it looked bad politically for anybody to support it. And I told a number of elected officials, don't do it. It's going to come back to haunt you. And it could come back to haunt you in a very bad way. So just walk away from that. And we did. It was not the best deal. It just wasn't. Invilik Therup says, I'm rushing. Go Oakland. Young JJ G. All right, folks. Wow, it's 120 watching now. I always say I'm going to bow out, and then it's 120 watching. How do you think Al Davis would have dealt with all this? I think he would have... Good night, Miguel Rose. I'm not far behind you. I think he would have stayed in Oakland. I really do. Joey Fernandez, Zenny, can you host a gathering of all of us, pay, visit, deliver your Ronnies or something, make noise? I don't know if I'm the person to make noise or rabble-rouse to other people like that, but I do think something should be done. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll have an idea. Whatever I do, I'm going to tap in the 66 Mob to save Oakland sports. Okay, folks, I have got to go a little earlier. Well, I did start at just a little after 11, and it's 1:14, 11:14. Yes, that's about 2 hours. So, but I've got a jam. I've got to take care of something for my dear old mom in the morning. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being there and everything else. And yeah, you guys are outstanding. And thank you for this great live stream. Remember, tomorrow, the legendary Nestor, Nasty Nestor, Baltimore Aparicio. 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Same bad time, same bad channel. See you. All right. God bless. Yes, John Mark's live stream tomorrow with Nestor. A little earlier with Nestor Aparicio. 7:30 p.m., 10:30 in the East. And there are points in between. With Nasty Nestor. Remember that. Nasty Nestor. We'll see you guys. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night there in Korea. Good night. You're a little late to the... Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, night. Good night. Bye, everybody. See you. See you tomorrow. You know how they used to wave with one hand, right? Then they wave with the other hand like that. Good night, because they were tired. Like that. And then like that. Yeah, I remember Dialing for Dollars. Who was it that did this? It was Hee Haw. They used to Hee Haw. Good night. Good night. And they do that. Good night. Good night. Good night. And you're like, Hee Haw? What the heck is that? It was a TV show. Anyway, good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night. I remember Dialing for Dollars. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. I will stay safe from the threatening weather. Now I got to look at the computer. All right, folks. Good night. I'm shutting down now. Thank you all. Thank you all. You guys have been fantastic. See ya.